Okay, y'all, I'm back. And if I still sound a little bit sick, it's because I made this video the same time I made, or the same day I made yesterday's video. But in this video, I really want to talk about like a question I got where someone asked me if I could talk about George Joestar, the first in the part 1 through 6 universe, and why I think he's a bad dad. And honestly, I want to expand on that because I don't necessarily feel he's a bad dad in intention, only feel he's a bad dad in action, because a lot of his actions made his family's life worse. You know what I mean? Like, I could start at him bailing Dario out, after he stole a ring, like his dead wife's ring. He stole his dead wife's ring and he still bailed him out. I understand you think he saved your life. You think he saved your life. But you only think that because you woke up at the exact time he was stealing your shit. Come on. And I understand he was trying to be on some, well, he was trying to be on some, well, Dario and his family, they live in poverty. He gotta do what he gotta do to get by. This, so on and so forth. But I'm sure he gave him some money. As a matter of fact, I'm positive he gave him some money. If I remember correctly, he gave him money to give him a business. He started the business and it failed. Then he went back to being a drunk. You literally did everything you can. You come and bail this nigga out of prison. You bail him out of prison. After he dies, you agreed to take on his son. Mind you, he's never met his son. He's never been out there to meet his son. He doesn't know what type of child this is. He don't know nothing. But he says, you know what? We gotta protect the kids. We gotta keep the kids, right? So he takes the son. As soon as the son gets there, he seems well behaved and shit, right? Seems cool, right? Whatever. But Jonathan is all of a sudden acting out. Mind you, before the son got here, Dario's son Dio, before Dio got here, Jonathan was chilling. He was chilling. He was doing everything he needed to do. He was chilling. He was popular, everything. But in a span of a fucking week, he has no friends. He's fucking up on everything. And he dislikes Dio, or it seems like he dislikes Dio. You didn't call him about to put his hands on Dio a few times by this point. And then in the manga, it's worse. It's worse when you think about George Joestar, because there's a literal scene in the manga where he's sitting down with Dio, and Dio asks him, why does Jonathan love Danny so much? And Dario literally gives the whole backstory of how he didn't like Danny at first, and then one day he was drowning and Danny saved him, and from that day on they were best friends and all that shit. And a day or two after that, now all of a sudden Danny is somehow in the incinerator. What? You're not looking at this nigga suspiciously like, nigga, I just told you. I literally just told you. They were best friends. That's how they got together. Did you do that? I understand. Dio's insanely manipulative. That's literally his whole thing. From birth, insanely manipulative. He manipulated his father. He slowly poisoned and killed his father. Insanely manipulative. But somewhere along the line, you gotta look at things. Look at your actual son. You gotta wonder why he just started messing up when Dio came. And you gotta not blame it on jealousy. You gotta actually sit down and let him explain. And maybe then, you can have both sides. But he didn't do that. He just told that nigga to tighten up. He basically told Jonathan to tighten up. Then after that, the fight. He comes in after the fight, after all that shit. And I don't know if he's seen the blade that Dio was holding in his hand. But this man, he was just like, oh, why are y'all fighting? Da, 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 da. And from there on, they kept it cordial for 7-8 years past, something like that. But it's just I don't know. I don't know. I think Dio may have been hiding it. I may be wrong. But I don't know. Mind you, though, during all this, He hasn't said nothing to Jonathan, no apologies, no nothing. It was just whatever, right? But 8 years passed. This thing's getting sick. Again, he doesn't wonder if he's catching the same illness that Dio's father had, because Dio would never do that to him, right? But Jonathan does, because Jonathan's like, yo, this nigga's really fucking devious. I done fought this nigga like 5-6 times. He's really devious. So Jonathan, he literally finds out that, or he goes, asks Dio about it, indulges Dio by saying his father had some honor. Dio flips out, and Jonathan uses that to prove that Dio is poisoning his father. He's like, I want to protect my dad. But after that, Jonathan goes to him, says, I have proof you're being poisoned. He gets the cure, if I remember correctly. He got some medicine that was supposed to be a cure, whatever, right? Tells him, they go to arrest Dio. Then right before Dio stabs Jonathan, he does a great fatherly act and jumps in between and gets himself stabbed, ultimately killing himself. But he talks to Jonathan, he's like, don't blame Dio. This isn't because of him. Of course it's not fucking because of him. It's because of you. You need to be more vigilant about your child. And that's the point where he's like, yeah, I fucked up. I know it seemed like I was giving him special treatment, but his father wasn't a good person. Duh, nigga. Duh. I bet you if you actually went to his father, if you actually went to Dario's house and talked to Dio alone, maybe, just maybe Dio might let a clue slip that he killed his fucking wife, basically, by overworking her to death. And that he's a bitch-ass abusive-ass alcoholic. What the fuck are we talking about? What? Like, genuinely, he was killing me. He was literally just killing me whole time, frying me. But really, that's why I say, when look at him, you have to look at his intentions first. Because intentions, at face value, they aren't bad. But then you also have to think about all the shit he just looked past. He just overrid. Come on, just come on. You could have let your son have a way better life. You could have even done better things for Dio than having him be in your fucking house. What the fuck? Genuinely, what the fuck? I don't know. That's all I got. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we are on the road to 5K. We're only 100 away. Thank y'all. And until next time, peace.